Catholic mom with a bunch of little kids, this episode is for you. Welcome to Catholic Mom Mindset, a daily show where you learn to walk closely with the Holy Spirit so you can live the life God is calling you to. I'm your host, Sterling Jakewith. Let us begin. I'm Sterling Jakewith, a Catholic mom coach, and I have 6 kids, and they are currently 3 to just about to turn 12. So I had these 6 kids in 8 years. And so most of my parenting career has been lots of little kids. My almost 12-year-old feels big. But even my 9-year-old still does some kid things and asks me a lot of questions. And so I just feel like we're really slanted in the little kid arena. And there is just a certain amount of chaos that comes with that. And so I wanted to do an episode on how you can have more joy or feel more calm when you're living in the little kid circus. Now, for me, before I had all of these tools, it was frustrating to me when somebody would talk to me about joy. That word in particular would just kind of bother me because I was just drowning and it was so chaotic. And then people would be like, just enjoy them or be present with them or this time is short, right? Or just like be a joyful mom. And, I was not okay. It was very hard to just like make it through the day without screaming at anyone, which I'm sure I was screaming at people. And I was just like feeding them and nap times and diapers and please don't die and just all the things. And now I know how to manage my mind so that the chaos can swirl around me, but my experience of it is so different. So I wanted to call this Finding Joy in the Chaos because I think a lot of people are kind of like drawn to that concept, but I want you to just pick whatever word you want. Okay? Control, peace, calm, presence. Pick the word that you actually want. What do you want to shoot for instead of screaming, angry, drowning, chaos, right? We know those words and those feelings. Why don't you pick a different one though? Okay? And here's how we do it. So first, you recognize that you are in a crazy battle. Okay? You are in a battle. And when we take soldiers and we prepare them to be in battle, they learn coping techniques, right? So one of those is box breathing. Box breathing is something all the Navy SEALs learn. It's where you breathe into the count of 4, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you breathe out for the count of 4, hold your breath for 4 seconds. You can picture it as a box. And they are taught that in crazy situations to practice box breathing so they get enough oxygen to their brain so that they can be calm and execute the plan or come up with a different one. Okay. The other thing that we do with soldiers in war is we create a plan. They're not making a lot of decisions on their own. Okay. There's a plan and then there's someone in charge. And there are contingency plans like, hey, if this doesn't go well, we're going to do this. And if that doesn't go well, we're going to do this, right? Depending on the scope of what they're getting into. Okay. But we don't just take a bunch of people and give them battle gear and then send them out. They have a lot of training, a lot of plans, and coping skills. Okay. They also know that they're going to go to battle and then they're going to retreat and come back to a safe place. Like you're not in war all the time from the time you wake up and you go to sleep, right? That's not how it works. We like battle and skirmish and then everybody goes back to their tents and like they recoup and then we do it again, right? And there are some unexpected things that come up. But I just think that we should view life with little kids a lot more like that because you know why? Your nervous system thinks that it is. Okay? Your nervous system is like, whoa, this is assaultive. There is so much noise. I don't feel safe. This is a highly unpredictable environment. People are screaming. People are fighting. People are barking at me. I have to feed them. I have to figure out the schedule, right? We're just like at the mercy of all of this all the time because no one prepped us for motherhood is kind of like being in a battle. Except for a lot of you, there's really no retreat to the tent. I mean, there is kind of when the kids go to sleep. Okay. But if we just told you that it was like that and prepared you for that, your experience of it would be so different. Okay. And that's what I do for myself now. So one, I just make way better plans. I just stop lying to myself that I can wing it. I'm like, you cannot wing it. Winging it creates chaos. And so what are we eating? What is the general schedule for the day? Okay, we just have some bucket points, right? We're unschoolers, which means I don't even have a rigorous homeschooling plan, but I know when we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know when the little boys go to nap. I know when I try to funnel the kids outside. I know when I'm going to spend time with the kids. Now, my husband and I both work from home, and every day is a little bit different, so we kind of huddle up usually the night before and like, hey, what's going on tomorrow? Who's going to be on point at which point? And then I communicate that to the kids. So there's just a little bit of a plan there. And then we have rules in our house. We have a lot of rules in our house to make sure that things run smoothly. And that doesn't mean that it feels like being in the army, right? But you got to put your socks in a certain place. Because if you don't put your socks in a certain place and we can't find your socks and we run out of socks, our family doesn't work very well. And so just knowing that there needs to be quite a bit of planning and training if I want there to be less chaos in my life. And just accepting that and wanting it even. Just being like, yeah, I do actually want that. Do you think I really ever feel like planning or training my kids how to do something? No. But I do really like the way a well-run home feels. So I'm willing to do the planning. I'm willing to do the training. Okay. The next thing is the way that I talk to myself. So when you sign up for the Army, I'm making all these Army analogies. You realize I've actually never been in the military, so I might be a little bit of a stretch, but I'm just making some assumptions. But you kind of like sign up. You kind of know what you're getting into. You prepare, and then you go. And then when it's difficult, you're not like, what's happening? Where am I? Why is that happening? This shouldn't be happening, right? In general, they kind of understand the gig. And I think with parenting, we just, whether it's movies or because we don't really remember much of our first 5 years of living, we just have kind of a mismatched idea of how it should be to have a lot of little kids. So for me, it's because I only had one brother. I wasn't exposed to families with a lot of little kids. And so it's still quite shocking to me what it is. And so even when my kids are just acting completely normally, it's still a lot of noise, a lot of questions, a lot of sibling fights, and craziness. But when I just got to the place where I was like, yeah, you have a large family and a high concentration of little kids, it is going to feel chaotic. I stopped arguing with it in my mind. I was like, okay, brain, this is where we're at. I'm not going to argue with the fact that this is our life and this is what it looks like. Okay? I'm going to stop there and I'm just going to do a part 2. I realized that this is there were a lot of things that I wanted to say. And so just hang tight. And the next episode will have part 2 of finding joy in the chaos of a lot of little children. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Mom Mindset. To learn more about growing closer to the Holy Spirit, check out our free resources at madeforgreatness.co. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day.